Welcome back to our continuing coverage coming in from the Supreme Court on the FIR that was registered against Major Aditya in the Shopian case, which escalated tension in the valley following the deaths that had occurred. Now, what happened is that Major Aditya's father had moved the Supreme Court. He moved the Supreme Court seeking the FIR against his son to be quashed. He said it was important for the morale of the armed forces, and there are other retired officers of the army, including veterans of the armed forces, who extended their support to Major Aditya's father in his mission to get the FIR quashed. And today the family stands vindicated, because today the Supreme Court has said that there will be no coercive action by the Jammu and Kashmir government on Major Aditya. Let me go straight across now to India Today's Mustafa Sheikh, who in fact joined us earlier on in the morning, and he too has been joined by a few army veterans. Mustafa, over to you. So what are the reactions now following the Supreme Court's verdict in this particular case?
Yes, of course, Avantika, at Azad Maidan, war vendors have gathered around since morning, and the demand is simple, which is behind it, which says that withdraw FIR against army in Kashmir. So what is withdrawal and quashing of the FIR, but what the Supreme Court has said that there should be no coercive action. Commodore, so we would like to know from you, do you think that this is a small victory for us who have gathered, the veterans who have gathered here?
I'm afraid not. This is no victory at all. Our demand is to withdraw the FIR against Major Aditya Kumar. And I'm surprised that the Honorable Supreme Court, the bench of the Supreme Court, has not found it convenient to pass this judgment, which is well within their capabilities, capacities and their authority to have done so. Just to say no coercive action will be taken against Major Aditya Kumar, in spite of the fact that his father has gone in appeal, is extremely disappointing to us in uniform, and also to all my civilian colleagues in the nation. By no coercive action, I presume they mean that he will not be arrested and no action will be taken against him. That in any case could not have been done so easily. So the Supreme Court has really not given any relief to the father nor to the son, and nor to the rest of the defense forces, the armed forces of the country. So what is disappointing? Sorry, you were saying something?
The war veterans coming out here gives out a pulse of the defense forces which are in Kashmir. So what are they feeling at this point of time? The FIR has affected the morale of the working.
Please understand that this FIR has adversely affected and will continue to affect the morale of the fighting forces, especially those who are fighting in that particular area. And this is because of the fact that this FIR has been illegally filed. I use the word illegal because they have not followed the conditions stipulated in Article 7 of this Act, which clearly says that before filing an FIR, the approval of the competent authorities must be taken. Of course, in this connection, I understand and I remember Madam Mehbooba making a statement that she has spoken to the Raksha Mantri and has got the Raksha Mantri's approval to file this FIR, which only highlights the fact that both the state government and the central government are involved in this sad incident of filing an FIR against an army officer who was only doing his duty, performing his duty. It is further accentuated by the fact that the FIRs which were to be launched against the stone pelters in the same incidents have been withdrawn. Now that is what is really annoying us and disturbing us, and it is going to have a very, very adverse effect on the morale, and therefore we once again beseech the government, both the state and the central, to immediately withdraw this FIR.
So Avantika, that's the demand which is being made by these war veterans who have gathered out here, and they want the quashing of the FIR. Back to you.
Absolutely. Executive Editor Govt is also with us. He's joining us from Jammu. Govt, do you think that the Supreme Court's decision to put on hold any action against the Army Major will reinstate faith in the armed forces? Because this FIR really escalated tensions not only between the allies but even in Jammu and Kashmir politics and within the armed forces as well.
Avantika, in Jammu and Kashmir, it depends on how information is played out. Now, if it's played out in the right earnest, without politics on the subject, then people will realize that law of the land has been upheld by the Supreme Court. I respectfully disagree with the veteran who says that Supreme Court has given no justice. Supreme Court has stayed the FIR. Now Supreme Court will hear all sides. They will hear the state government. They will hear the central government. They will hear the petitioner, and then they will take a call on what's the next step to be taken, which is how due process of law is. While the veterans seek quashing of the FIR, and technically they are right because there should have been no FIR in the first place. But perhaps the learned judges of the Supreme Court want to hear the other side, which is the state government, and understand under what circumstances was an FIR registered against the officer without following due process of law, and that is where this case stands. In Kashmir, if there is politics over the subject, it will lead to more heartburn. But if things are set in the right perspective, simply that you cannot target security forces, you cannot pelt stones, and if you do, there will be an action, then perhaps there will be a change.
Absolutely. And Anusha, many call the registration of the FIR totally uncalled for, saying that the FIR in fact was registered against the army without a thorough probe, and these were serious sections that were made in the name of the major.
So they knew that the issues that we had raised were far beyond, constitutional guarantees and fundamental rights of just one soldier and his father. The fact that when you are persecuting somebody who's exercising his bona fide duty, then the impact is on the morale of the forces. The impact also jeopardizes somewhere the very national security and integrity that soldier is laying down his life for. So very, very serious issues that were raised, and that's why I feel that that's why the Honorable Court has taken cognizance of our petition.
Aishwarya, we've been speaking about the due process of law that should be followed. As you pointed out that under AFSPA there is no complete immunity, but there is a process laid down that whenever there are excesses one has to do. Tell us in brief about that procedure, and in this case if that procedure was followed at all.
So we have to bear in mind that the army does not operate in civilian areas just like that. Army operates in civilian areas only after the government of the day, the civilian government, requests that, the law and order, the situation there is so bad, terrorist activities are so bad that their normal civilian authorities cannot take care of that, and the army is called in. Now, when army is called in, they have to have the regime of Armed Forces Special Powers Act. They operate in that. Now, Armed Forces Special Powers Act gives some special powers for forces to operate. Those require that bona fide actions of the military, so long as they are operating within those bona fide actions, so long as they are operating within the standard operating procedures, then they have to be protected. You can't be putting them to, lodging FIRs against them, asking them to do their job. Right. They can either do their job or they can be prosecuted.
Okay, so Anusha Soni there speaking to Aishwarya Bhati, the counsel of Major Aditya in the Supreme Court, saying that the lodging of the FIR, the registration of the FIR against the army major in itself was wrong. It was done without any inquiry into the incident, and that's perhaps why the Supreme Court has now decided that no coercive action will be taken against the army major in the Shopia incident. A quick break on the broadcast. Stay tuned. I'll be back with lots more.
Thanks for watching the video. For more such news and updates, please like, share and subscribe to India Today. Also check out our other great videos from our channel. We know you would love to.